Flashlights. Since their creation in 1899 by British inventor David Mizell, humans have been dependent on them to survive. I believe they may be humanity's greatest invention, closely followed by video games. And these two things often go hand in hand. To know if a video game is worth your time, you pretty much just have to ask yourself, does it have a flashlight? Hollow Knight Silksong? No flashlight, get it out of here. Far Cry 5? Probably the greatest game ever made. So today, I'm gonna do what no gamer has ever done before. We're ranking flashlights across the entire gaming multiverse. To begin, some ground rules. Sorry to disappoint, but I will not be ranking every single video game flashlight ever. That is probably impossible. I will do my best to hit all the big ones, plus some niche picks. I will also not be ranking every game from one series. I ain't ranking all 8 Resident Evil flashlights. One game per series. And what even makes a good video game flashlight anyways? It is pretty game dependent, but I do think there is some overall qualities that all flashlights need to be up there with the elite lights. They need to be convenient. I don't want to unequip my weapon just to use the flashlight. No way. They need to work. I want a flashlight to show me what's in the dark. If it barely helps, then why even have a flashlight at all? They need to be toggleable. If it's automatic, that's so lame, and I'm probably gonna want it on when the game doesn't, but too bad I can't do anything about it. They need good battery life. Real life flashlights last for an infinite amount of time, so if my game flashlight turns off every like 2 minutes, I'm gonna be unhappy. And lastly, while not essential, any flashlight gets bonus points in my book if it's interactive. Like, you can use it to blind an enemy or something. That's pretty cool. But, without any further ado, let's shed some light on video games' greatest and worst flashlights. Alright, so you know all the things I just mentioned? What if there was a game that did absolutely none of them? The Lethal Company flashlight has gotta be the worst gaming flashlight of all time. If this was a tier list video, this one would be like below F tier. This thing sucks. Oh my god. First of all, Lethal Company is a game all about weight and inventory management. You cannot carry very much. And of course, guess what takes up one of these precious inventory slots? The flashlight. So it's already a pain to carry around, but oh well, at least it's helpful for what it's worth. Right? No! The base flashlight sucks ass. This thing barely lights up anything. Sometimes it feels better to aimlessly wander around in the dark, because honestly, it's not that different. There is an upgraded flashlight, but let's be real, that one's too expensive. No one's buying that garbage, because it still takes up inventory anyways. Okay. At least it has good battery life. Right? No, this thing dies in like 1 minute, and you have to go all the way back to your ship to recharge it. I have a personal vendetta against the Lethal Company flashlight. I do believe my enjoyment of this game would increase significantly if it wasn't an insult to David Mizell's original creation. Me and my friends have modded Lethal Company so we can get rid of the inventory space issue. So yeah, this is serious. Alright. Guys, I think we started off on the wrong foot there. I do love flashlights, just like all of you guys, but sometimes I can get too passionate about them, as you can see. So let's move on to a more positive one for the next one. While Five Nights at Freddy's 1 does include a light system, it wasn't till the sequel where the actual flashlight came out to shine. See, I'm pretty good at these flashlight puns. Anyways, this one ain't perfect, but it's definitely an improvement over Lethal Company's. I like that it is central to beating the game. This may be one of the only games that really captures the importance of flashlights. You need to scare away Foxy with this thing, or you die. Usually, the fact that it's on a battery life would be negative to me, and it is a little bit frustrating. Although I do understand it, because without the battery life, there wouldn't really be a challenge to Five Nights at Freddy's 2, so fair enough, I'll give him that one. But I do wish you could see the flashlight. That would be cool. And it doesn't make sense that using the flashlight in the room you're in is somehow connected to the flashlight that's on the cameras? I may not be a genius, but I'm not sure how those would be connected to the same power sources. Most flashlights are powered by their own batteries. Overall, mid-tier flashlight for sure. What the hell? Anyways, back to the video. First a low tier, now a mid tier. I think it's about time we get a win in this video, right? How about a just plain overall good flashlight? The Last of Us, regardless of what you think of the gameplay or the story or anything like that, should pretty much be the base level of how you want your flashlight to work. Toggleable? Yep. Bright with good coverage? Yep. No battery life? You better believe it. I wouldn't say it does anything special. I mean, NPCs react to it, pretty neat. Also, you sometimes randomly have to physically shake your controller to get the flashlight to turn back on, which is pretty cool. I like the sound it makes when you do this, even if the idea of it is a little bit unrealistic. 100% high tier flashlight material here. What about cool gameplay flashlight integration? Before this video, I had never played an Alan Wake game, and I really had no intention to, until ChatGPT told me I absolutely had to because it has some of the most important flashlight integration of any game ever. So here we go, Alan Wake 1, let's see if it's worth the hype. Alright, that was something. Overall thoughts. Voice acting, pretty rough.
He's here. Alan, wake up. Shh, baby, just another nightmare.
And I am not a fan of the constant narration, nor do I really care for the story. But oh my goodness, ChatGPT was not lying. The flashlight integration is fire. It feels so awesome to light up enemies and then literally light up enemies with the revolver. I don't even care about the batteries. Okay, actually no, they were pretty annoying. That's 100% why I died and stopped playing the game. But very funny that they are powered with genuine Energizer batteries that last for about 5 seconds. But still a super cool flashlight, high tier flashlight for sure. And let's get back to the bad ones. Half-Life 2. That name is pretty much a reference to how bad the battery life is on this flashlight, because it's like half the life that it should be, if you get what I'm saying. But honestly, I'm gonna be nice here. If it wasn't for the abysmal battery life on this thing, it would be pretty good. It's got good coverage and brightness. I never felt like it wasn't working well. Plus, it is as convenient as pressing F to turn this thing on. Leave it to the battery to bring this one down. It's bad. However, it is also pretty quick to recharge, which is nice, but then it's counterintuitive to having a battery life at all because it comes back so fast, so it's like, why even have it in the first place? So I don't know, probably like a mid-tier flashlight. Although, do give it credit, the original Half-Life was one of the earliest games to adopt a flashlight at all. Kinda set the groundwork for all these other games. How about we stick with Valve games? Left 4 Dead 2 also features a flashlight. Pretty similar to Half-Life's actually, although it does away with the battery life. Greatly appreciated by me. But of course, these guys at Valve had to go and mess it up again anyways. First of all, you don't even need the flashlight very often. If you're shooting, that is enough flashlight for everyone. And they made the coverage worse. Like, look at this. What happened? I'd say mid-tier, but too bad I'm not being nice on this one. This is a low-tier flashlight, I won't lie. But you know who never lets down with his games? Hideo Kojima, the mastermind behind the Metal Gear Solid series. And Metal Gear Solid 5 is definitely up there with its flashlight representation. I'll start with the bad. I don't like that guns don't always have flashlights. Most of them you need to buy the upgraded version just to even have the option. And to toggle them on, it's a little inconvenient. You have to bring it up in your inventory, select the gun, and then press a button to turn it on or off. A lot more complicated than just one tap. However, these inconveniences are made up for in the fact that it's actually a rather useful tool. The flashlight will blind enemies for a short amount of time. Sounds small, but it really can help you out if you're about to be discovered. And you just need that extra second of delay to line up the perfect headshot. Truly honoring the flashlight legacy. Thank you, Kojima. I briefly mentioned Far Cry 5 in the intro to this video, and I stand by what I said. Although it frustrates me to no end that this flashlight only auto turns on in like dark caves, and that's pretty much it, I'm a huge fan of the brightness of this thing. As you can see in my gameplay, it really helps out with the visibility and definitely doesn't fry my eyes to a crisp. Move over, Last of Us, we've got another high tier flashlight. Now, flashlights and horror kind of go hand in hand. A lot of the games I've talked about thus far have at least a little bit of horror in them. So I'm sure everyone has been waiting for me to discuss one of the biggest horror franchises in gaming, Resident Evil! That's right, here we go everyone. It's the most important ranking of the video. It was a difficult choice to pick which Resident Evil game to rank, but I eventually went with the one that is most often regarded as the best of the series. Resident Evil 5. Truly a classic game here. But what about the flashlight? Oh. Wait. Damn. There isn't one in Resident Evil 5. Well, so much for Resident Evil. On to the next popular horror franchise. Silent Hill I had actually never played until a couple weeks ago when I played the remake of the second game for the first time. I'm not sure if Silent Hill 1 is important, but everyone only talks about the second, so naturally I had to start there. Anyways, I'm happy to report that unlike Resident Evil, this one actually does feature a flashlight, and it's a pretty good one at that. It's got unlimited battery, you can turn it off and on as you please, other characters react to it. Overall, pretty solid. It's a little dark, but for the style of the game, this is forgivable. I don't want to get too technical, but I'll admit, as an enthusiast, the fact that in-game James doesn't even move his hand or anything to toggle it on is a little frustrating. If he can turn it on with his mind or something, props to him. I'm jealous. Now, I bet some of you guys are probably getting a little bored. Who knew a video ranking video game flashlights that act almost identical in every single game they're in might not be the most interesting thing to watch? So I'm gonna throw a bit of a curveball. These next two are not your traditional flashlights, but I still wanted to include them. The Fallout series staple is your arm companion, the Pip-Boy, and believe it or not, this thing lights up like a flashlight to help you find your way. Or, well, it would if flashlights were just like a tiny lamp on the top of your head. This thing is so stupid, it makes me angry. Like, all bits aside, I'm being so for real right now. It's useless. There's absolutely no distance to this thing. Unless it was 100% pitch black, all it does is illuminate like 2 feet around your character with white light, even though it's clearly glowing green. No wonder people think Bethesda games are glitchy. Low tier flashlight. In the horror game Outlast, there is no flashlight, but a camcorder that you constantly are looking through. It has night vision, which kinda acts as a flashlight. But hopefully you didn't expect this one to be a positive one. This is the worst case of battery life on any flashlight I've seen. That's why I felt I needed to include it in this video. Batteries are a very limited resource found throughout the world. Interesting idea, but what happens if you're in a super dark area and run out of batteries? You're screwed. Literally nothing gets you out of this. You're stuck in pitch black and you can't see anything. Need I say more? Another low tier flashlight. Now, back to your regularly scheduled flashlight rankings. Okay. I need a bit of backstory on this one. I originally played Doom 3 on my Nintendo Switch. I have no way to record gameplay on my Nintendo Switch. I am not buying Doom 3 again solely for the purpose of recording gameplay. So we had to compromise, and I apologize for the next gameplay. Regardless, Doom 3 is a mid-game and the flashlight is even worse. First of all, you're telling me that the Doom guy, the one that went through multiple layers of hell slaying demons, cannot hold a gun and a flashlight at the same time? The flashlight is in your inventory like a weapon, and it's not particularly convenient to change to. This is only the beginning. While I appreciate seeing the flashlight, it takes up a lot more screen than necessary, and the light isn't even centered? It's like a considerable amount to the right, and this frustrates me to no end. No one is pointing their flashlight so far off center, especially not Doom guy. Anyways, Doom 3, bad game, bad flashlight, shouldn't have even spent this long talking about it. How about a niche pick this time? SOMA is actually a pretty cool game. Definitely play it if you haven't yet, it's awesome. And the flashlight? It's alright. Nothing special, it works about exactly how a flashlight should. Easily toggleable, definitely bright enough. There's just one small thing that irks me. Why does it take so long to turn off? Like, take a flashlight, turn it on, bam, turn it off, bam, immediate. SOMA flashlight has to think about it. Electricity does not take that long to move around. Mid-tier flashlight. Next, let's discuss one of the scariest horror games of all time, Alien Isolation. Hell no, I'm not playing this. For the Nintendo fans out there, we've got Luigi's Mansion 3. As far as I can see, one of the few Nintendo games to include a traditional flashlight, and it does so very well. Your flashlight is out during like 90% of this game, so naturally, I was a pretty big fan of it. It looks great, it works great, there's no battery, and best of all, flashlight combat. This is awesome, it's just like Alan Wake again. You can charge up your flashlight and then blast ghosts with it to stun them and suck them up with the vacuum. The flashlight being a central part of the game is phenomenal. Truly a high tier flashlight right here. I couldn't ask for more. For the water fans out there, we've got Subnautica. This one is pretty solid. It's got great coverage and is a pretty cool futuristic design for a flashlight. Do I get how you can make this with only one battery and some pieces of glass? No. Not at all. And it does have an annoyingly limited battery supply, but Subnautica is a survival game all about managing resources, so it does fit the gist of that. And you might be saying, what? That's not fair. I thought you hated flashlights with limited batteries. And this is true, but it's my video, not yours, so too bad. Another niche pick, Signalis, manages to do something I didn't know possible. For context, if there's a flashlight, I'm always using it. These things are awesome, except in Signalis. It's a very atmospheric game, and I genuinely sometimes feel like the flashlight ruined the ambience. Just a little bit. Like, it lights up everything too much. The shadows and lighting are so much cooler without the flashlight on. Pretty mind-boggling. There is one pretty big horror franchise I have not mentioned yet, that being Dead Space, a game known for its cool built-in UI systems, which should theoretically also include a flashlight. It's interesting, there is flashlights in the game, and they are pretty good. The strange thing is that you have to aim for them to show up. I'm mixed on this mechanic. I would usually be frustrated that you would basically always need to be aiming in for a good light, and that's true, but Dead Space also has a great atmosphere and lighting, so I didn't always feel a need for a flashlight, kind of like Signalis. Plus, it increases the tension when you do need the flashlight. Genuinely no dumb bits with this one, it's pretty cool. I think Dead Space atmosphere just convinces me. I'm including the next one for two reasons. First reason, it's a hugely underrated game that I think everyone should play. Prey is a sci-fi immersive sim with some next level features, like the glue cannon that allows you to essentially build your own way around the spaceship you're stuck on. But the second reason I'm including it, Square flashlight. Yeah, you heard that right. Square flashlight. This might be the next gen step for flashlights. Not only is Square just new and fun to see, it's also way more practical. Like, the coverage on this thing is crazy. It's so much better than plain old Circle, and I think it's possible. Why is there not already Square flashlights? Why is that not the norm? Who knows? But I do know Prey did it right. Just kidding, you think I don't know that? There's a few different reasons, but it comes down to, in real life, a circular beam is a lot more concentrated and produces a brighter light. So while Square may cover more ground, it won't be as bright as a circular beam. And humans just find the circle more pleasing. It's got smooth edges, I don't know what else to say. There is a battery meter in Prey, but it's a very minor inconvenience as it recharges so fast anyways. Just thought I should mention it. Another underrated immersive sim, Metro Exodus, also features a flashlight. This one is not quite as good though. It's just not the best light. And worst of all, you have to like manually bring out a flashlight charger once it dies and pump it up before you can get it running again. It's just pretty inconvenient and annoying regardless of how cool and in-universe it is. Next up, wait, that's it. Guys. We made it! That's every flashlight I'm gonna rank today. You survived to the end of the video. In all seriousness, for all of those who are still around, I really appreciate you. In this journey, we saw the good, the bad, and the ugly of video game flashlights. It wasn't all easy, and believe me, it wasn't easy ranking some of these. I know how much flashlights mean to developers, to humanity as a whole, so to throw some games under the bus, yeah, it felt bad. But just know that at the end of the day, is there really such thing as a bad flashlight? Yes, I refer back to the lethal. No, I don't think there is. I love them all the same, and I hope that you do too. I didn't rank all the flashlights out there, and there might be a few that you guys are disappointed I missed out on. But don't fret, a part 2 could be in the works. So if you enjoyed this absolutely phenomenal and definitely not a waste of time video, please like and maybe subscribe if you feel like it. Thanks for watching.